Good morning. We begin our time together in song with Shall We Gather at the River by Robert Lowry. Please make sure your microphones are muted so that you can sing along enthusiastically to welcome in this beautiful new day. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Gwinnett. My name is Jan Taddeo. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and it is my great pleasure and a privilege to serve our faith as a minister of this congregation. I am so grateful we can be together this morning. If you have a chalice at home to light with us in a few minutes, please have it ready. We arrive from many places and many life experiences as we gather to recall our true selves, reflect on the meaning of our lives, and explore questions of ultimacy together. We are people who are new to Unitarian Universalism and people who are lifelong Unitarian Universalists. We are people of many religious beliefs and spiritual practices. We affirm and promote the responsible search for truth and meaning. We are people of many genders, sexualities, ethnicities, origins, ages, shapes, sizes, and expressions of our true selves. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people. We are people of all ages and family structures, and we each bring gifts, talents, and passions that serve to affirm and promote communities with peace, liberty, and justice for all. We are a people of covenant, who engage with one another in ways that promote and affirm justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. We are people who care deeply for our planet and understand we are inextricably and profoundly connected with the web of all existence. We are people who welcome all who are seeking a community of faith that welcomes your whole self, all that you were, all that you are, all that you yearn to be. And you are just where you should be, in a room full of compassionate, thoughtful Unitarian Universalists ready to meet you where you are. You are welcome here. You are home. If you are a newcomer this morning, we welcome you and hope you will indeed find your spiritual home here with us. We are becoming a radically welcoming sanctuary in a green space. We foster spiritual growth as we joyfully nurture connections and community within our walls and beyond. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to join us several times to experience the full flavor of this congregation and this faith tradition. Come be curious, courageous, and compassionate with us. And now let's all take a deep breath, bring ourselves fully into this precious time that we've set aside to be together this week. And maybe some need another breath. And now, as sound vibrates through us and around us, let us be reminded how deeply and profoundly interconnected we are with one another, how connected we are with every species on this planet, and with all the stars in the cosmos. We are one.
Our opening words this morning are Choosing the Possibility of Thriving by the Reverend Karen G. Johnston. What can we only see in the dark? How do we know the answer unless we venture there, into the dark, without flashlight or headlamp, without candle or match or glow of handheld screen? What can we know? What can we only know in the dark? How do we sense the myriad possibility unless we go forth, this way and that, lose track of forward, perhaps even up and down, a spacious momentum drawing us on unknowingly, making space for mystery? And as we light the chalice this morning, I'll read We Gather as Many Drops by Reverend Leslie Takahashi. We gather as many drops, each winding our own path down life's surfaces and ruts. Here we pool together as a single body, flowing together for a time. Together we are a stream, at times even a river, for with our shared force we can travel toward oceans of meaning and seas of connection.
Ours is a covenantal faith. At our core, there's no creed, no dogma. What binds us together as a faith community is our open-ended pledge to walk together in the waves of truth as they are made known to us. Today, we enter into a covenant with David Morgan, our new student minister. David is with us this year to meet the contextual education requirements for his Master of Divinity degree at Candler Theological Seminary. We're also serving as his internship congregation to meet the requirements of the UUA Ministerial Fellowship Committee. In this capacity, he will be serving part-time, averaging 15 hours a week from mid-August 2021 through mid-June 2023. David attended our weekend leadership retreat earlier this summer, and he has already started working with Reverend Jan to develop his learning agreements with Candler and for the Ministerial Fellowship Committee. Our promise is to provide the opportunities David needs to explore his unique talents for ministry. We are his laboratory, his mirror, his teachers. We pledge to be both supportive and honest. And when his service with us is completed, we promise to let him go, to continue his formation and his ministries in other settings.
And this is a covenant this congregation can well fulfill. You have been very good to this minister, kind, honest, generous, and demanding. You appreciate ministers and ministry, and you share this ministry well. David, ministry is not always easy here or anywhere, but it is ever worthwhile, honorable, and fulfilling for the heart and the soul. As your senior colleague, I promise to support you as you discover how this congregation calls you into a ministry that is your own.
This covenant is not ours alone. As a teaching congregation, we are supporting all the congregations and communities that David will serve in the future. In serving as a teaching congregation, we're strengthening and growing Unitarian Universalism. David, we welcome you as our ministerial intern. And to the congregation, will you join me in our covenant as a teaching congregation? I will read the covenant and invite you to respond in the chat with a hearty "we will," and what other blessings that you would like to offer. We gather ourselves as your teaching congregation. We will honor your promise and call to ministry with the best we know. We will offer you opportunities for learning and leadership. Please respond, "we will." We welcome you as a student and as a minister for this brief time, knowing that what we have to teach will go with you as you serve other congregations and communities, strengthen the voice of our liberal religion, and work to transform the world through acts of love and justice. We will share this ministry with you as we walk together toward our vision with curiosity, courage, and compassion.
I am grateful for this opportunity to learn and serve the UU congregation of Gwinnett as your ministerial intern. I welcome your honest reflection and your support. I promise to enter into this ministry with you with trust, compassion, and inquiry, and to receive the learning available here as a key part of the formation of my long-term ministry in the world.
And the crowd went wild. Yay! Welcome, David. And now we're going to go see what's in our Wonder Box. There we go. What's in there, David? So there's a little pot with some soil in it and a little seed paper. Yes. What's in the other thing? A little bit of water. That looks like it's about 1 drop of water.
I would say about 1 drop.
So do you think that 1 drop will help all these seeds to flourish?
I don't think that seems like enough.
Probably not enough. I wonder how we could get more water in there. It reminds me of a drop of water with a name. His name was Higgins. Thank you, David. Higgins is a drop with a dream. And this is a story written by our Reverend Chris Bice. Once upon a time, there was I can take this mask off because I'm not up at the pulpit with David now, so you take yours off too, yeah. Once upon a time, there was a drop of water named Higgins. Higgins was no ordinary drop of water. He was a drop with a dream. Higgins lived in a valley where it had not rained in a very, very long time. So all the lovely green grass was turning brown, all the beautiful flowers were wilting, and all the trees were starting to droop. Higgins had a dream that one day the valley would be a beautiful place again. But what could he do? After all, he was only a drop of water. One day, Higgins decided to travel and tell others about his dream. All the other little drops of water listened very politely, but no one believed that his dream would come true. "Higgins," said one, "get your head out of the clouds. You can't spend your whole life dreaming." Higgins decided that he had to do something to make his dream come true. So he began to think and think and think. And one day, as he was walking by a rusty old bucket, he got an idea. If enough of us drops of water got together in this bucket, there would be enough water to sprinkle on a few flowers to help them grow and become beautiful again. Eagerly, Higgins told everyone his great idea, but everyone thought he was being foolish. That Higgins is nothing but a dreamer, they said. Higgins decided he had to do something to convince the others that he was right. So he said to them, I don't know about you all, but I'm getting into the bucket, and I hope some of you will join me. Then there might be enough water to help at least some flowers grow beautiful again. So Higgins ran as hard as he could, hopped way up in the air, and landed with a kerplunk in the bottom of the bucket. And there he sat, just a drop in the bucket. For a long time, Higgins was very lonely. It seemed like no one else was going to join him. But after a while, some of the other drops could see that the grass was dying and the flowers were wilting and the trees were drooping, and they all agreed that something must be done. Suddenly, one drop shouted, I'm going in the bucket with Higgins. And he leaped through the air and landed kerplunk in the bucket. Then two other drops yelled, wait for us. And they hopped through the air and landed in the bucket. Then 10 drops jumped through the air and into the bucket. Then 30, then 50, and then hundreds of drops came from all around just to hop into the bucket. And soon the bucket was completely full of water. But there were still more drops that wanted to join, so they found another bucket and hopped in. And before long, there were 2 buckets of water, and then 3, and then 4, and then 10, and then hundreds, and then thousands of buckets of water. Along came a powerful breeze that blew over all the buckets, and all the water flowed together to make a mighty stream. Everywhere the water flowed, the grass turned green again, and the flowers bloomed, and the trees stood tall and straight once more. And all this happened because Higgins had a dream, and his dream came true, because he knew that although he was just a drop in the bucket, enough drops in the bucket make a bucket full. And when there are enough buckets with the wind behind them, then justice will roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Come, sing a song with me by Carolyn McDade. Let's sing together.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
The Spiral Scouts International program, which strives to train young people to be the future stewards of the earth, was created by the Wiccan organization Aquarian Tabernacle Church in 2001 as a scouting alternative for children ages 3 to 18 years and is open to all genders and faiths. Its stated mission is to provide opportunities for children to fulfill their potential as caring, responsible individuals through informal activities in a spiritual, open, loving atmosphere that celebrates diversity. Our circle, number 393, the Flowering Branches, began their charter in summer of 2016, led by Sharon Yun and Aline Harris. The Kellys and the McGees joined early the next year, and by the middle of 2018, I had stepped into a co-leader role. Over the span of our 5 years meeting together, Flowering Branches has encompassed many children, from the 2 founding families to nearly a dozen scouts, whether registered or just visiting for a time. We all were welcome in our circle. Our current members who have consistently joined our online meetings include Bodie Yun, Rowan Harris, Reagan McGee, Eris Kelly, Fauna Kelly, and Gwydion Kelly, with frequent appearances from Andy Harper, Jacob Mann, and Denny Sue Rice. So what do we do? Well, similar to many other scouting groups, the workings of a typical monthly meeting follow a loose structure that guides and helps focus the scouts on earning a badge on a particular topic, say geology or cooking. To open our meetings, we light a candle at each of the 4 directions and one in the center as we put words to their meaning. Air for knowledge and skills, fire for imagination, water for compassion and feelings, earth for prosperity and nature, and spirit for a deeper wisdom. The scouts then reaffirm their scout oaths according to their program level: Raindrop, Firefly, Spiral Scout, or Pathfinder. The youngest pledge.
I make this badge to remind us now to be kind and good like a raindrop should.
Our more experienced scouts have this to add.
I promise to serve the wise ones, to honor and respect Mother Earth, to be helpful and understanding towards all people, and to always keep love in my heart.
From there, the workings of the meeting turn to activities geared to fulfilling badge requirements, sometimes in the form of oral reports, guided activities, or interactive presentations. Scouts participate in creating crafts, storytelling, playing games, and making music. Occasionally, we get together for special outings to broaden our understanding of the world. We've attended a theater show and formed ways to express ourselves, toured a fire station to learn about personal safety, gone camping to find our place in nature, and even skipped school to protest climate change and exercise our civic responsibilities. Within the larger UUCG community, the Flowering Branches have lent their light and talents in service to the congregation in numerous ways. One of our first noticeable offerings came in the form of a bake sale that challenged the kids to perform culinary and business skills while raising and donating a sum of money for the church, which fortified their sense of charity. The circle's efforts to earn the fire safety badge led to a much needed building-wide fire drill that then readied the congregation to take action should such an emergency arise. More recently, scouts have come together to lend a small but mighty hand in refurbishing the church grounds, particularly giving some TLC to the playground area in Grove. In turn, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Gwinnett has provided a home for the Spiral Scouts. From the beginning, you have provided space and resources to hold our meetings. And as the circle grew wider, we were accommodated a larger room to gather in our very own bulletin board to display our accomplishments. Even later, as we had to shift to virtual meetings, a private secured Zoom room was waiting for us without us having to ask. Aside from the logistics, UUCG members have also taken the time to share with the scouts their own knowledge and experience in aiding them to check off various badge requirements, ranging from gardening to photography, first aid to musical performance. Congregational members have brought their expertise to these learning endeavors, including Karen Smith, Bill Binshoff, Christine Burnham, and Michael Parker, and Dan Kelly. Moreover, UUCG's greatest gift to the children and their families is a nurturing community to engage in, one that shares closely the Spiral Scouts' philosophy and mission of personal spiritual growth and reverence for nature. Which brings me to today's long-awaited ceremony awarding the numerous badges accrued by our hardworking Scouts. Since our last awards ceremony in November of 2019, no less than 18 different badges have been earned, with most of those gained during the pandemic. These include personal economics, photography, birding, music appreciation and performance, art, geology, cooking, sewing, pet care, literacy, interfaith, and entomology. Another feature of today's ceremony is to recognize our oldest Scout as ascending to the next level of membership. Much like bridging, Scouts who have reached the end of a level's age or skill range spirals up to the subsequent program. At 11 years old, Eris Kelly will now no longer be a Firefly, and she steps into being a full Spiral Scout, gaining with it more challenging tasks and greater responsibilities.
A Spiral Scout shall respect all living things, be kind and courteous, be honorable, be mindful of his or her words, seek knowledge in all forms, recognize beauty in all creation, offer assistance to others, value honesty and truth, honor personal commitment, and respect the divine in all things.
We lift her up as a role model to her younger peers and honor her path on the greater spiral journey of life. The future of the Flowering Branches is bright and hopeful, with many endeavors in the works. Along with a group patchwork tapestry and a dedicated on-site spiral garden bed, we plan for more days of service to the community, more nature outings, and more opportunities for congregational involvement. We will likely in time add new Scouts to our numbers as siblings come of age and our influence reaches like-minded curious souls in the surrounding area. And when that time comes, we will draw our circle wider still. I'd like to finish with a quote by Hermann Hesse from Siddhartha. We have learned so much. There is still much to learn. We are not going in circles. We are going upwards. This path is a spiral. We have already climbed many steps.
Thank you, Zoe. I'm so joyful for the opportunity to celebrate our young people and honor them in the service today. We move from the metaphor of a spiral to the metaphor of a bridge. Although bridging is an annual ritual that we perform for and with our young people as they reach milestones of age and achievement, this year is different. We have not had the opportunity to bridge for the past 2 years. We kept thinking as the seasons passed that surely next season we'd all be together again in person and have the opportunity to walk across the bridge. There is no bridge to walk across today. In this extraordinary year, during this extraordinary period of time, I'm inclined to, and I invite you, to think about bridging not as an event, but as a process. That every step of our life journey is a step further across the bridge. So this morning we will light a few candles, and David will assist me. And as the flames cross the bridge, we can imagine advancement through the stages of life and achievement. As we go, I am going to invite you to put any names in the chat of people that I may have missed. So just be considering that as we move forward. The first candle symbolizes birth. And this year, this congregation has much to celebrate. May all of you new human beings and your parents. Be reminded every time a chalice is lit how deeply beloved you are by this community. The second flame is lit for those beginning school, preschool or kindergarten, for the very first time. For you, this flame represents your first steps out into the world, a world beyond your home and your parents, a small measure of independence, which fans the spark of curiosity that has lived in you since you were born. The third flame represents those who have turned 8. When we're in person in RE, 8 is the age at which children in our congregation move up from the elementary RE program into what we call tweens. Wow. For you, this flame represents your next step across that bridge, learning, growing, in courage, in knowledge, and always in curiosity. We walk beside you. The fourth flame honors those who have begun middle school, a milestone so much more significant than the name middle school implies. For you, this flame represents your continued growth in your quest for knowledge and understanding of the world. This congregation embraces all of the possibility within you. The fifth flame honors those who have started high school over the past 2 years. For you, this flame represents the courage you embody as your journey toward young adulthood continues. This congregation is here to hold you up whenever that courage may falter and stand beside you whenever your courage is strong. The sixth candle honors those who have graduated high school or reached the age of majority over the past 2 years. For all of those named here, for you, this flame represents the fervor with which you stride forward toward independence and young adulthood. And the light that you bring to the world. Always know that this community walks beside you as you discover your path into the future. We've come to the seventh candle, which honors those milestones beyond youth, achievements, life transitions, all of the events that continue to shape our experiences of life, no matter our age. Know that we are walking beside you and celebrating you, even though we do not name them aloud at your request. I'd like to close with a reading that is for everyone that has been named in this space and for all of us. This comes from Pillow Thoughts by Courtney Peppernow. You can't skip chapters. That's not how life works. You have to read every line, meet every character. You won't enjoy all of it. Hell, some chapters will make you cry for weeks. You will read things you don't want to read. You will have moments when you don't want the pages to end, but you have to keep going. Stories keep the world revolving. Live yours. Don't miss out. Now I invite you to join me in singing Where Do We Come From by Paul Gauguin and Brian Tate.
am so excited about hearing so much about Spiral Scouts. I'm just thrilled that we have been hosting them these 5 years, and boy, those 5 years flew by. And maybe we'll see the Spiral Scouts out at the World Cleanup Day next Saturday at the Bethesda Park. And Christiana, thank you for that lovely bridging ceremony. I can't wait though until we get our big bridge in here and do it with everybody together. That will be a joyful day. Our son's third grade teacher introduced a concept that I've held on to all these many years. When her children or her students would ask her about something, maybe they had an idea, a request, a proposal for some project or grand, far-fetched concept, she might reply, well, I guess it's possible, but not probable. In our Western, it might have been something like, you're going to give us half the day off, right? Well, it's possible, but not probable. In our Western culture, we are raised to believe that anything is possible. We can be anything we want to be, accomplish anything we want to accomplish, solve any issue, anything is possible. But is it probable? And if it's not, does that mean we shouldn't try anyway? Several years after our son completed middle school, I started taking part in seminars and workshops through Landmark Education. Their programs are centered on the idea of possibility, and I have to be careful how much I share because they really like to keep their technology to themselves. But I'm going to share a few of the ideas from this, and I know I've shared some in the past, but possibility was indeed at the center of them all. For anything you want to be or change in the world, you can create a possibility. Possibilities have a particular form. The possibility I'm creating for myself in my life is, or you might just shorten it with, I am the possibility of. So for instance, I am the possibility of unconditional love. I am the possibility of abundance. I am the possibility of free, clean water for all human beings on the planet. I am the possibility that everyone in Gwinnett County has affordable, quality housing. You get the idea. However, you can't create a possibility for yourself and your life until you have done some work to name and address whatever might be going on inside of you that needs to be resolved so you can truly live into this possibility, because we have stumbling blocks in us that we might not even know are there. And without this deep internal work, there's a slim probability that you're going to get very far living into your possibility. Higgins, the drop of water, and his friends can teach us some things about this. So for example, I shared from this pulpit not too long ago the possibility that's on my bathroom mirror. I am the possibility of unconditional love. This is aspirational, I assure you, like Higgins' dream to fill the bucket with water. The internal work to fully realize this possibility is intense and intentional. And we didn't get all of Henry's internal work as he wrestled with, should I just hop in the bucket and hope other people will join me? But we know he had to do some stuff to gain that courage and that wherewithal to do that big leap. The internal work is intense and intentional. I listen to my internal dialogue. I look for my hidden biases and my fears. I try to notice the assumptions and judgments about the intentions and actions of others that are ingrained in me. This is somewhat like that hard work that Higgins' friends had to go through to move from skeptics to participants in Higgins' possibility. I continue to learn and will be learning all my life how to truly embrace unconditional love for all beings. I'm inspired to practice this, to work at this, to resolve whatever holds me back from realizing this possibility. I do this through reading books, taking part in workshops, engaging with programs like the Warriors for the Human Spirit program that challenge me to grow, where I confront my attachment to comfort and stretch myself. This possibility for myself and my life is at the core of how I show up in my marriage, with members of my family, with my colleagues, my neighbors, and with each of you. And these are really easy contexts for practicing unconditional love. These are all people that are pretty easy to love. It's harder to practice with the people I'm not in relationship with. Certain politicians, pundits, people who think it's okay to not wear a mask or get a vaccination when they are eligible to get one. Or people who don't want to put any limits on owning an assault weapon, or those who want to prevent women from having agency over their bodies and medical decisions, or those who continue to deny the threats we are facing to the very future of life on this planet because of our addiction to oil, overconsumption, and profit motives. So that's my personal work, the effort I put forth to bring forth the unconditional love I want to see in the world. And I have to practice it on myself as well when I notice that, oh, you know what? I like to consume things. I drive vehicles that use gas. And I don't have a profit motive so much as a security, financial security motive. So I have to look at how I'm in relationship with the very values that I so treasure and espouse. So I wonder what possibility this congregation is living into. Every Sunday, we share our vision statement in our welcoming words. We are becoming a radically welcoming sanctuary in a green space. We joyfully nurture connections and community within our walls and beyond. This is the possibility we've created for ourselves and the future of this congregation. So we have to work at it, and we do. Our latest offering of Working on Whiteness filled up like that. About 30 people took part in the transgender inclusion and congregation programs we offered last fall and will offer again this winter. I expect we'll see a great turnout next Saturday at the World Cleanup event that we are hosting at Bethesda Park. And I'm just going to add here, it's really important you register for this because you have to fill out a waiver form. And so we need you to register by Thursday because our administrator works on Friday and she can pull those registrations and make sure everyone gets contacted. So just do that right after the service. Our engagement with the Gwinnett Interfaith Alliance and the Gwinnett Remembrance Coalition has us building connections with people of other faiths who are committed to increasing religious tolerance in our county and people committed to racial equity in our wider community. As climate chaos rises over the coming years, there will be greater suffering and substantial needs in our community. How will the possibility of green space that we are living into inspire us to prepare and respond for what we know is emerging? I think of us as sort of running towards the bucket to jump in on something big, because climate migration, even more severe weather, droughts, floods, fires, famine, scarcity of resources, and all of that is really hard to imagine right now. But we're going to need to start filling a bucket to prepare. Is it possible that we'll see religious tolerance, racial equity, and the end to the destruction of our planet in the next decade? Probably not, but it's possible. And even if it's not probable, we have to do it. Another aspect of living into possibility involves expanding our circle of influence. Sometimes one person can make a huge difference. Look at what a teenager from Sweden did to wake people up to climate change. Greta Thunberg created an improbable possibility and inspired millions as she planted seeds of change. So what is the bucket we will fill? Will we have several small buckets we jump into? Or will we pool all our resources and jump into one large bucket? What's the best way to use our resources? How limited or unlimited are our resources? How many people beyond our walls might we inspire to be part of something big that makes a real difference in people's lives? The only thing limiting our possibilities is the breadth of our imagination and the depth of our belief in ourselves. And I think we have fabulous imaginations, and the very fact that this congregation has existed here in Gwinnett County for 40 years is a testament to both our imagination and our confidence. We can do whatever we set our minds and hearts to do. We can make the possible probable. each year as we gather in the fall, it is our custom, and the custom of most Unitarian Universalist congregations, to offer water as a symbol of our connection one to the other. I have adapted our ritual for this online experience. We begin this ceremony with water from ceremonies past in our green bottle. Waters from the east, the south, the west, and the north have been part of ingathering water ceremonies at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Gwinnett for many, many years. This water reminds us of our connection to those who have walked before us, creating and growing this community. And this water also connects us to the future generations who will gather here for many years to come. Now hold up the water for the east. This water comes from the east, from the place of birth, creation, new beginnings, and inspiration. If you have experienced a new beginning, birth, creation, or inspiration in the past year, please share it in the chat as I gently add water from the east, as David gently adds water from the east. I'll give you a moment to enter into the chat. This water comes from all that you have shared and all that is held in the sanctuary of the heart. Now we turn to the waters from the south. This water comes from the south, from the place of passion, playfulness, emotions, vulnerability, faith, and trust. If you have experienced passion, playfulness, vulnerability, or faith and trust in the past year, please share that in the chat as I gently add water, as David gently adds water from the south. This water comes from all that you have shared and all that is held in the sanctuary of the heart. And now the waters from the west. This water comes from the west, from the place of abundance, harvest, maturity, strength, and transformation. If you have experienced abundance, harvest, maturity, strength, or transformation in the past year, please share in the chat as David gently adds water from the west. This water comes from all that you have shared and all that is held in the sanctuary of the heart. Now the waters from the north. This water comes from the north, from the place of clarity, wisdom, silence, peacefulness, and death. If you have experienced clarity, wisdom, silence, peacefulness, or grief in the past year, please share in the chat as David gently adds water from the north. This water comes from all that you have shared and all that is held in the sanctuary of the heart.
We offer this blessing of the water created by the Reverend Ranwa Hamami. This water is sacred. It is made sacred by the many hands that have poured it with intention and love, the many stories that each drop contains, the many lives surrounding it in this unique moment, connected by commitment and faith. This water is sacred. May it continue to flow through this community with shining reflections of the unique gifts that flow through each of its members. This water is sacred. May it continue to nurture this community with sustaining hope that we journey together through ripples of growth and change. This water is sacred. May it continue to bless this community with loving reminders of our collective responsibility to one another and the world. This water is sacred. May its ripples be a reminder that the changes and growth within this community bring movement and transformation to the world beyond our doors. This water is sacred. May its purity offer grace to our community and the willingness to forgive ourselves and one another when we make mistakes. This water is sacred. In moments when we are confused or uncertain, may it bring us clarity of purpose and commitment. This water is sacred. In moments when the reservoirs of hearts and spirits are drained by sorrow or pain, may it nourish them with the knowledge that we are surrounded by a deep and abundant love. This water is sacred. And now, in response, please sing with us Wade in the Water, an African-American spiritual, circa 1750 to 1875.
Our congregation is committed to creating a more compassionate world. To this end, each quarter we split our plate collection with an organization nominated by people in the congregation and selected by our Giveaway the Plate committee. Our third quarter plate recipient is Special Needs and Treats, a Gwinnett-based nonprofit organization, which on the outside looks like many other bakeries, but it provides job training and employment to special needs adults. They bake cookies and cakes and other sweet treats, and by doing so, they develop social skills and confidence. The organization sells to the public and also provides baked goods to homeless shelters, food pantries, foster care systems, and other support groups. It also gives free birthday cakes to special needs individuals in Gwinnett County. Our plate contributions also support the shared ministry of this congregation, so I ask that you please give generously to support the work of this important ministry in our wider community, as well as the vision and mission of our congregation. As we listen to our pianist Brian Bishop playing Shenandoah, arranged by Nelson Keys, you will see on the screen ways to contribute to our offering via PayPal, Venmo, or by mailing a check payable to UUCG to the address shown. If you are worshiping with us for the first time, your presence here today is a generous gift to this community. You may choose to let the plate pass. The offering will now be most gratefully received. Lovely. Thank you, Brian. May the generous gifts received this week move us towards realizing our vision of a more connected and compassionate world. And now I invite you to join me in offering gratitude this morning. This past week, we had our monthly meeting of the Pastoral Care Team. And these are such amazing people, and I want to lift up the really wonderful work they're doing here. The team is Bill Benshoff, Lisa Keel, Rob Cole, Christiana McQueen, Justin Miller, Mandy Miller, no relation, Carol Richardson, and now David Morgan. They are truly amazing people, and I am profoundly grateful for their deep care for this community and the sacred work they do to provide emotional and spiritual support for people in our congregation. They will be taking on even more responsibility while I'm on sabbatical, and they are ready, and please use them. I am also grateful for all who brought their voices and gifts to our service today: David Morgan, Lorena Griffin, Zoe Kelly, Barbara Stanke, Christiana McQueen, for their participation. Brian, you haven't heard Barbara yet, but she's coming in a minute. Brian Bishop for sharing his exquisite talent on piano. And for this morning's tech team, Tony Nastri as our Zoom manager, and Russ Taddeo and Dan Kelly are managing video and sound. Thank you all so much. And now is the time for our call to connection within our congregation and beyond our walls. If you are new to our congregation, sign up for our weekly e-news and monthly newsletter. Check the website to see what other events are coming up, and use the register events button on the homepage to get connected. There's lots of activities in there that you can sign up for. And and I'm going to ask Barbara Stanke to tell you more about our Starting Point program.
Thank you so much, Reverend Jan. Today's homily talking about the possibilities, and it reminded me of my path to UU and of this new possibility that we have here at UUCG, and how it involves both visitors, friends, and longstanding members. I co-facilitated the first offering of Starting Point with Katrina Yurko, and it really reminded me of all the times that I've been in groups with UUs and hearing the journey. Way back in the 90s, late 90s, I became a UU, and I learned about other people's paths, and that helped me kind of forge my spiritual path. And in Starting Point, I re-explored my journey with others exploring their journey. And I learned so much, because there's some things that are the same, some things are different, but I learned something, and it helps me keep exploring my personal journey and putting it in front of other people, which it kind of checks me in a way, and also reinforces what I'm doing. There are wonderful readings and activities in Starting Point. I got introduced to some new authors and some videos that really connected me to UU and the universe. I met new people who wanted to learn about UU, but also to see that they are creating their path, and their path helps my path. So the big picture of UUCG's Starting Point is we listen to our deepest self, we open ourselves to all of life's gifts, and serving needs greater than our own. And wherever you are on your spiritual journey, whether you're new to UU, if you were born a UU, or you just want to refresh your path, I hope you'll join us for this enriching experience. We start next Sunday, and you do need to register soon to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. I'll just add that it is a small group format, so it's up to 10 people, and including the facilitator. So we still need about 4 or 5 people to have this program go. And really want to emphasize what Barbara said. This is a great program for both seasoned members, established members, and people who are new to our congregation. And it's a great way for them to meet each other in a small group setting. They meet 4 times, starting next Sunday, every other Sunday, for an hour and a half from 2 to 3:30. Please register by Thursday. And that's going to be our new deadline for registering for things coming up on the weekend. Have to register by Thursday, so that our office administrator has time to find that registration and share it with the people who are hosting the event. So please register by Thursday. All right. And I want to remind you that if you want to see past services, our coordinator of family ministries continues to put those up on the YouTube site, and it does take some time, and it's not her first job. So if the one you're looking for isn't there yet, it will be soon. If you're looking for a way to be of service, have I mentioned that next Saturday we're gathering at Bethesda Park from 9 to 11 to do a cleanup for World Cleanup Day. And I know that Gwinnett Clean and Beautiful is also doing an event, and the Gwinnett County Parks and Services is helping us, is supporting us in this effort. Peggy has worked with them so that we have safety vests and liability waivers as we walk through the park, picking up trash and litter that doesn't belong there. So please register by Thursday so we make sure that you get the liability form and that we know who to expect and know how many vests we need and all of that. So register by Thursday. And then food collection is always on the first Sunday of the month. That's October 3rd. So please start grabbing a few extra cans of soup and veggies and pasta and things like that to bring on October 3rd. Religious exploration for children, teens, and adults is now beginning. Now that we've had our water ceremony and our big ingathering, we begin our program. So today, the Spiral Scouts is taking place, so there won't be a program for the early elementary folks today. What? Say it. But next Sunday, there will be a program for you. Yes. And the adult program started today at 10 a.m. and will continue for this year, so this program year. We also have resources online that Christiana curates to ensure that there is something for everyone of all ages and wherever you are on your path to receive resources to help you on your search for truth and meaning if you want to do a solo practitioner of that, in addition to all the small group opportunities to grow. Regular events take place throughout the month. The Gwinnett Understanding Secular Truths is on second Monday, so I guess that's tomorrow. And the Covenant Choir is meeting on Zoom on Tuesday nights at 7. Women's Spirituality on second Fridays, which is not this one. It was the last one, not this one. And Exploring Taroa Sherry every Sunday at 5. Yarns from the Heart, first and third Wednesdays, so that's coming up this week. And Belief Exploration is today at 12:30. A reminder that our pastoral care team is on call 24/7 if you need confidential spiritual or emotional support or just want to talk to somebody because you haven't heard another human voice in a while other than something coming out of your TV or your podcast app. So here we go. And now let us rise in spirit as we say together the words we say as we extinguish our chalice, followed by Blue Boat Home with words by Peter Mayer set to the music by Roland Hugh Pritchard and arranged by Jason Shelton. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let us sing.
Still my dry land heart can say,
Our closing words today are If We Imagine by Reverend Sherry Woodbury. What a world there can be if we imagine, if we share, if we care, if we act. What a world there can be if we are indivisible in heart and make the most of our one shot. Let us trust that the seeds we plant in time will flourish and that we can create the tipping points for a better future. For our children's children and the great web of life on earth, let us make a new start. So may it be. Amen.
All right, I want you all to meet someone else who's pretty important to this person at the pulpit. This is Annie Morgan. Annie Morgan. She is David's spouse, and we're so glad you're here and welcome you. And you sing beautifully, so I hope you'll come sing with us sometimes. Okay. Thanks for being here. Our service has ended, and now our service to one another and our wider communities begins. Be well, beloveds. I love you so much, unconditionally. Mask up. See you at the cleanup on Saturday morning at Bethesda Park and right here next Sunday morning. Be well. We're just going to gather as a large group in the larger space today. We don't really have time for breakout groups, but thanks for being here. And I'll come and see you in a minute. Love you all.